As Hans Olsen has moved on to the corporate world, we're looking for the next great Utah sports radio talent.
There's something for everyone.
While we do that, you get stuck with this guy.
Hey, everybody, here's our star.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, folks, let's get it. It's another edition of the show. Tim Lacombe hanging out with me. I'm Scott Gerard. Hope you are all well. And you know what? Yes, things have changed. Things have got turned upside down a little bit. But you know what? We are down here at Bar W Beef. We will talk more about that coming up here in a bit. But, Timmy, I'll let you introduce our next guest.
Well, I'm excited about this one. Just a great friend through the years, and just happens to be the head coach of the number one ranked team in the college basketball world right now, Arizona Wildcats. We got Tommy Lloyd to talk to here. Scotty?
Coach, how are you?
I'm great, guys. Thanks, Timmy. Just know that I canceled an individual meeting with Koa Pete for this. So anything I can do to start pumping the Wildcats in Salt Lake City, I'm all for it.
Hey, I love it. I will tell you this. I don't know how much individual work that dude needs, because to me, looks like you got yourself a really, really good young player.
Nah, he's great. He's been awesome. He's a great young man, and just awesome character, true winner. So it's been a lot of fun to coach him, for sure.
Coach, what's the grind of a college basketball season, and you're hitting the old proverbial dog days of February, and you're undefeated, so all eyes are on your team. How hard is it to keep a team locked in when you're dealing with 18 to 20-year-olds and make sure they keep their eye on the prize through some of these rough weeks leading up into the conference and NCAA tournament?
Well, yeah, I guess dog days. We could stereotype them as that, but. We had a week off this week. We played last Saturday against Arizona State. We play tomorrow against Oklahoma State with a quick turnaround trip to Kansas right after that. So we're hitting a tough part of our schedule, but we're excited for it. I think it's exactly what we need. Perfection was never the desired outcome, and we want to be challenged. And we know we're going to be challenged, and we know we're probably going to take some punches. We might even get knocked down. But it's time to learn. Time to see where we're at, and obviously you're trying to build for a big March.
Coach, how did you handle the off week? That's always kind of an interesting one when you got some momentum. We did have momentum from time to time at BYU until the Zags took it from us. But how did you handle the week?
Well, the last 2 weeks is kind of how it broke. We were able to take 2 days off back to back. So we took Sunday and Monday off each of the last 2 weeks. We did that this week. And then we practiced. We went full bore Tuesday and Wednesday, and maybe kind of, worked on some things that we think we might need down the stretch of the season, just for some of our upcoming opponents, and trying to kind of add to our arsenal a little bit. And then yesterday we kind of did a quick hitting, light contact, but a lot of movement practice. And then today, I think we got practice here in about an hour and a half, and it'll be a game prep day. Prepping for an opponent tomorrow, and just trying to get sharp and get our rhythm, and then hopefully coming out and playing really well tomorrow.
The coach in you, I'm sure, wants to have long, drawn-out practices and keep working these dudes. How do you juggle making sure bodies stay fresh, but also stay focused during this stretch?
Yeah, well, college is about practice. That's one of the biggest differences between the college game and the pro game, just the amount of practices you have. And these are young players, and they're not finished products, so they need these reps. They need to learn. So we practice, but I would say this time of year, by the time you think about starting with film and a little warm up and some shooting and things like that, it's probably a 2-hour haul. It's probably what it takes. But these guys are young, they're in great shape, and and on top of that, they lift weights outside of practice and probably do an individual shooting workout every day. There's always that balance, of your output, but at the end of the day, a guy that's a legend that kind of spent a lot of time in your area. He used to wear number 12.
Yeah.
He said something to our team once. He and I have become really good friends over the years from my years in Spokane. He just used to always say, if you want something bad enough, there's always something left in the tank. And I thought that was pretty powerful statement. So I truly believe in that if you want something bad enough, you got to work for it, and there's always going to be something left in the tank.
Man, what a great quote by, as you say, a legend in this area. How lucky we were for years to watch him dip into that tank and give us more. You're one of my favorite things about you is just kind of say what you're authentic. You're one of the few people I met in that business. Like to this day, like yesterday when I text you text me right back. You haven't gotten too big for your britches, but you always kind of say what's on your mind. I'm curious your take on the state of college basketball today.
Oh, well, good. Well, first off, I traded the britches when I left Spokane for shorts in Tucson.
Okay, so well, good golf shorts too.
Here.
Okay, no more britches for you.
75 here today. So, right. But listen, college basketball is going to be fine. It's a great game. It's a great product. We're just going through a lot of change, and it'll eventually, and the change is going to be good. It had to happen, and now we just you're going to have to navigate it a little bit, and it'll probably be some rough waters, and a lot of people will get emotional about it. But I know this, Timmy, and you know this. There's not one thing that feels different to me today and when I'm with our team and coaching these guys. Right. It feels like it did 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. That part's still the same. So I think that the true essence of the game is good. It's just we got to figure out the stuff around it, and it's a little bit messy. And if anything in our society, once it starts getting in the hand of lawyers and rules and regulators, seems to kind of lose a little bit of the fun. But you got to kind of fight through that because this game's worth fighting for.
What has life been like for you transitioning from the Pac-12 to the Big 12?
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, just the nightly challenges. I mean, like just the fan bases are awesome. The road games are awesome. I mean, every one of them is an event. Just the league has a real identity with, the physicality it plays with. And I think that's really important, where the Pac-12 might have the identity of being free-flowing and kind of open court type stuff, which is really cool. The Big 12 is more, it's going to be grinding and more physical. I mean, I think our offensive numbers are kind of still where they always were, but it's definitely a more physical game. So we really embraced the challenge here at Arizona. And listen, we're staring it down. Like this next month, I mean, we got Kansas twice, BYU, Texas Tech, Houston, Iowa State. Like, I mean, that's a lot, but it's also a lot of great opportunities and should be a lot of fun.
You got to experience something, I was close to. I'm probably, 1 foot from greatness. You slid over in that chair, as you were the first in command there with Mark for so many years. And the common respect we had for each other, I think, is one of the cooler stories that people don't know. But, it was so rare to have the relationships we did while we're trying to kick each other's head in. But what was that move like, and what have you learned the most from sliding over that chair?
I wasn't going to leave, and that's the honest to goodness truth. I thought I was Bill Guthridge, and I was really okay with that. I thought I was going to be, the right hand man, Dean Smith, Bill Guthridge. I was going to be that to Mark Few, and I was okay with it. And we had a great life in Spokane. Then Arizona called. And you're like, oh, that's different. And I just remember looking in the mirror when it kind of got down to the point where it looked like I could get the job if I wanted it. I just remember, kind of the old look in the mirror deal. And I thought, like, if you don't take this job, you really don't believe in yourself. And so I did it. And it's been awesome. It's been an awesome learning experience. I've learned so much, just from going through it. But I'm also thankful for how prepared I was. I was an assistant for 22 years, with Huey. So, I probably learned so much from him. I don't even realize it. It's just, it became part of who I am. And so I'm thankful for that preparation. And then I'm thankful for the opportunity here. And then, once you start a process, you don't always know how it's going to go, but you kind of navigate the ups and the downs and the turns a little bit. And hopefully you become a better coach and a better person, and I think that's happened.
You've obviously coached against Timmy and Dave Rose at BYU when you were at Gonzaga. Now you're up against them in the Big 12. Talk about what you've seen from them and the evolution of their program with the NIL and their ability to jump into those waters at such a high level. That's got to be rather interesting for you to watch to see who this team is as compared to where it was in the past. Yeah,
I mean, those teams were always really good in the past, and I thought those teams had a real identity to how they played, just with the scrappiness and the kind of the pace and the effort they played with on offense. I thought was obviously formidable to play against. I remember at the game I looked up, when I was there a few weeks ago, and I saw Coach Rose, and I thought to myself, man, is this the time I want to ask them about? They used to do such a good job in their transition, hitting their post early, and their other posts seemed to be perfectly timed to be diving right down the middle of the lane in transition. And I kind of want to figure that out for our guys. So I remember the actions they used to run. They really creative stuff, and that's what I always appreciate about Timmy and Coach Rose. It was like when you played them, you weren't guarding the same things you were guarding in other games. I mean, their sets were different, and they had this creativity to them, and which was really interesting to see. And then obviously Kevin's come there and done a great job, and they've invested in talent, and and that's an important part of the game. I think the thing we're all trying to figure out is how do we sustain this from year to year? How do you sustain it over a 5-year window? Things like that. I think we're all learning how to do that, and I'm sure BYU has a lot of the same questions and concerns that I have, on what it looks like, from year to year.
Well, I know you got practice and you wedged us in, so I'm going to obviously let you go. But thank you, Tommy, for the friendship through the years, and thank you for jumping on today and giving us your unfiltered, authentic takes.
Well, hey, last thing, I got to make sure I say hi to the McCarthy family. If Phil and Tom knew I was on a local radio show without saying hi to them, they'd probably be upset. So Phil and Tom McCarthy were great supporters of us at Gonzaga for years and have become dear friends over the years. So I want to make sure I say hi to the McCarthy family.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Hey, bear down, will you?
There he is. Tommy Lloyd. He is the head coach of the University of Arizona, the number 1 ranked, undefeated Arizona Wildcats.
So, I mean, I just tried to give you some of my dust. Well, I came and number 1 out of the gate. That was fun.
That doesn't stink at all.
No, and I'm telling you, what you hear, and what you see is what you get. I'm old enough now. I just hit 55, if you can believe it.
Double nickel, huh?
Yeah, double nick. And the one thing I have learned is those are the types of people I want to be around, where you don't have to guess, what they're saying out somewhere else. What you see is what you get. He's right now the most successful coach in the country, and he didn't even balk at wedging us in on a really busy day.
Well, I mean, that's incredible. And the fact that, yes, you guys competed at a crazy high level. I mean, you went into Gonzaga and ruined their undefeated season once. I mean, there was some great battles between BYU and Gonzaga in those West Coast Conference days. But yet to still develop those kind of relationships and respect and admiration for each other, I mean, I think for people on the outside looking in, they have a hard time comprehending how you could be sworn enemies on the court, but also develop close friendships off the court.
Well, it can be done, but I think the authenticity is the piece that has to be there on both sides. If you got one guy that's telling you everything and the other guy's actually using it, and then once he doesn't need you anymore, you never hear. I mean, that's the most common thing you see in college or in sport is people using people on a rung, and then once they're – but Tommy's not like that. Tommy's one of the good ones, and that's why it's really easy for me to cheer for his teams.
Well, he brought up Bill Guthridge, and I don't know if the kids these days got that reference, but Bill Guthridge was Dean Smith's long-time assistant coach at North Carolina, and ended up when Dean Smith shut it down, he got the job for a couple of years. But Bill Guthridge was always the lieutenant, and Dean Smith was always the general, and he was perfectly fine with that. I'm sure he had plenty of years and plenty of opportunities to get head coaching jobs, and yet he just waits and was perfectly fine just being the number 2 guy at Gonzaga. But you're right, and he's right. When Arizona calls, you got to take that phone call.
You got to take it, and he knew what that was, too. He's a basketball guy, and Arizona, it seems, is always in the game, regardless of the situation. And so, yeah, it's been a match made in heaven. I think, as he said, he took everything that seemed innate in Mark Few, and that's kind of how greatness works, I think. You hang around people, you see the things that are really effective, and they just become a part of you. And so that's boosted him as a head coach out of the gate.
What is his strength? Is it recruiting, or is it just X's and O's? Like, what really jumps out at you as to why he's as successful as he is?
He's an innovator. I think, first of all, he's a people person. So he cut his teeth I mean, the story is he basically showed up at Gonzaga. He'd played Division II somewhere, and he just wanted to work. And he didn't even care if he got any money. And the old days, I hear of he and Leon Rice, who's now the head coach at Boise, and Billy Greer, who was the head coach at San Diego, now at Colorado. All those guys basically splitting like a $12,000 stipend and a one-bedroom apartment. You know, they just had mattresses in each quadrant. So that's the part of these things. You see these guys and their success, but you don't see the backstory and what they had to do to get there. And I think it all feeds into what Stockton, that quote that he used, if you've got enough in the tank, or I mean, if you want something bad enough, you'll have enough in the tank. If you can see the big picture to work towards something, you've seen that in your career.
Oh, yeah.
You? I mean, come on. It's
yeah,
part of it.
That's just a life lesson, you know, and that's not just basketball. That's just life, you know, and I get, you know, I'll talk to people like, oh, you know, I was going to go into broadcasting, but, you know, I just couldn't make it work with my family. Okay, well, then you didn't want it enough, frankly, you know. The sacrifices that my wife and my kids have had to make so that I could chase this dream are incredible. They're absolutely phenomenal. And that's why Craig Smith, when I was doing coaches shows, he always told me these stories about how he and the head coach at San Jose, Tim Miles, they would get in this like Honda hatchback and they would go on these 12-hour road trips to JC tournaments to go recruit to Minot State, where they would maybe find one or two guys that could even possibly consider them. And the chances of closing them are next to nothing. But they're eating gas station burritos, rolling pennies for gas money, and missing every birthday, all the family events, and things like that. And when I hear stories like that, I'm always like, hey, I will never, ever, ever get after a coach for trying to get a big contract or going to a bigger school for a big contract, because in their mind, they not only want to reward themselves, but they want to reward their wife, their kids, people around them, their assistant coaches, their trainers, because they've all sacrificed together for this dream. And so if a coach gets an opportunity to really cash in a big way, go for it. Absolutely go for it.
And the cool thing with NIL is it used to be where coaches were the only ones that could do that.
Yeah.
You know, I guess to Tommy's point, we are in the midst of change, and it probably is needed change at some point. I mean, when I was there, I said it yesterday, you couldn't buy a guy a candy bar out of a vending machine. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So at least there's some strides being made, but hopefully, as he said, when litigators and politics get involved, that's why the NCAA manual was at the end, you know, bigger than a phone book. But the change is probably good, and I just like his positive outlook on it. You hear so many, like Mick Cronin, every time he opens his mouth, he's got crocodile tears running down. So even when you asked him the dog days, he's like, well, it's depending on how you look at it, right? I mean, he's a positive guy.
And is that just inherent, or do you have to teach yourself to be positive?
You teach yourself, because I'm telling you, there were years when things weren't going right. There's dark hours in the thing, and you know, you have to. Coach Rose used to have to use the word, you have to trick yourself, but it is a training. You have to train yourself to be okay with failure, because failure is a part of the process. But we all hate it so bad. And in coaching and in sport, it's so visible. You know, when you go out as an accountant and you're trying to close a big deal to get an account, and it doesn't go well, and you really flub it up, you know, there's a lot of turnovers and bad execution. It's not on the front page of the paper.
No. And you don't have schmucks like me on the radio going like, what's going on down there? They got to fix this, blah, 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 blah. You know, like, you know, that accountant, he's got a decimal point in the wrong place, and it ruined everything.
I mean, the PowerPoint, he didn't even change the name of the company on it.
Like, come on, what's wrong with him? Somebody's got to either rattle that cage, or he's got to go back to the mine, like whatever. But he's got to, and people don't understand that level of scrutiny and the difficulty that comes along with it. And by the way, if you are an accountant, you miss a decimal point in your presentation or whatever the case is, your wives don't hear about it. Your kids don't hear about it at school. Like, the trickle down on how it affects everybody is crazy.
Yeah. So back to the full circle to your comment, when a guy like has been through all that, has the opportunity to strike it, you strike it.
You strike.
You strike.
Yeah. the great Tom Nisalke. I love Tom. And
he was an amazing guy.
Just,
I get to know him very briefly, but, man, was he great.
When Locke got the play-by-play job, I did pre-half and post with Tom for 5-6 years. And Tom was just such a great, not just a mentor in learning the game, but also just with life, because he coached all over the country. He knows what it's like to get hired, to be the hot commodity. He also knows what it's like to be fired and go through all of that. And he told me a couple times, because there was a moment where I was kind of flipping between, do I stay at 1320? Do I go to 1280? The Jazz, and Sim, like there was all these, and I was racked. I didn't know exactly what to do, how to handle it. And he goes, Scott, there'll only be 1 or 2 times in your life where people actually want you and you're hot. So you got to cash in when you can. And I'm like, okay.
God bless that guy, right?
He's like, there's only going to be a couple of those moments, and and so when those opportunities arise, you got to take advantage of it, And Hans and I have had long conversations about his path and stuff like that, and I said the same thing, like, hey,
follow your heart.
Follow your heart. You got to do what you got to do, and frankly, if you feel like it's best for your family, you got to do it. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
So this is the kind of thing you get here at Bar W and Bar Dub Grill. They brought out, and that's the thing, like they throw so much stuff against the wall and just have fun, and they give everybody down here like free reign. Like, what do you think would be good? All right, we'll try it. They put orange juice into a slushy machine. So you got this orange slushy, and it's in this bowl, this monstrous bowl with incredible soft serve vanilla ice cream. So essentially you got an orange creamy when it all comes together.
I was just transported from Nephi to the Caribbean. I'm not kidding you.
No.
I was just transported with my taste buds. Maybe it's just hanging around you. I'm starting to get more food conscious, but, man, is that delightful.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. So that's what you get down here at Bar Dub Grill, Bar Dub Steakhouse, opening up on January 3rd. So last night, you're watching that Jazz game, you and Jake Scott doing the pre-half and post for that. And, again, as you just heard, Isaiah Collier goes in another 48 minutes. The Jazz have opportunities, can't get it done. Atlanta gets the victory down the stretch on the game winner. But to me, I think best case scenario for the Jazz, play well, develop, and still get saddled with a loss.
And I think everybody can get behind that now. I think it was all fractured until the trade.
Yeah.
2 things happened this year that I think everybody that sped it up. And we talked about it yesterday. Keontae being Keontae this year and doing what he's doing has allowed the Jazz to actually fast forward a year and get really serious about picking up a big-time player, which they went and did. So now that's done. Really the last 65 days or whatever we got left, it is about development. It is about having a play drawn up at the end of the game to try to tie the game. You're down 3, and Ace Bailey gets the opportunity and knocks it down. Like, that pays dividends down the road. Winning last night, losing last night, not the big issue, but, like, I take from it a couple of things. That play. And then Isaiah Collier played 48 minutes, 2 consecutive games. He's the first player to do it since 2024, where Josh Hart did it in the playoffs. You remember?
Yep.
And it's funny because Jake and I were talking in the studio, and I said, I guarantee you the last player to do this played for Tibbs because he just plays the rubber off their shoes. He's like, no, you're fine. You still got something in the tank.
Like, you're young. You're fine.
So it was Josh Hart in the playoffs, and then before that, you have to go all the way back to 2015 to Rajon Rondo. So just the other part of it, he not only played 48 minutes consecutive games, but he had 33 assists to 4 turnovers in both. That's an incredible. You watch guys play every night. That's hard to do in open gym.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard not to just, with skeleton offense, to have one come off your hands. So 33 to 4, the pace he's playing, huge step and a major development really over the last couple days for the Jazz.
How do you work in Jaren Jackson knowing that ultimately you want to, frankly, I'll just say you want to lose games, but you also want to get him some chemistry going into next year. You want him out on the court. You don't want to completely shut him down. I don't think that does anybody any good. You want to provide a little bit of spark to your young guys. Go, okay, this guy is obviously going to be the man next year with Larry and probably Kessler and Keontae. So, you better figure out how to play with him because we're building around this dude, but also not sacrificing losses along the way.
Yeah, honestly, that was the first place my head went. And I don't know that there is a clear-cut answer to how that'll be done, what the priorities will be. These guys all have to go through physicals.
Yeah.
And I know oftentimes when you go through physicals, because you're in the midst of a season, if something is bothering you, you tend to play through it. But when you get a physical, you basically get an overhaul. And so I think the first step is making sure there's nothing that they would have to put them on the shelf for. And then from there, I think the Jazz have done a masterful job at kind of intertwining and giving guys different opportunities to do different things. Even during last year, there were times where Collier would close a game as a rookie, or would start a game as a rookie. So to give guys not just minutes, but situational minutes that then teach them lessons. Like, what is it like to start a game? Somebody's never done it in the NBA. They don't know until they've done it. So Will's put guys in positions during this period. I think he probably will just do the same, juxtapose certain lineups that will go out there and hopefully get some good. Last night you saw Lowry didn't play any minutes in the fourth quarter, really. So maybe that's part of it. They play some of the game together, get some chemistry. But as far as how all the minutes work, I'm probably as curious as you are to see how that works.
Yeah, I think it really puts the Jazz in an interesting situation. By the way, you mentioned this yesterday, and I had a chance to have a conversation with some people earlier today as well. There was some movement. I don't want to say movement. That's not the right word because that implies that the Jazz were actually thinking. Walker Kessler was a commodity. Like even with the injury, everything that was that he's dealing with. There was a lot of people out there that wanted the services of Walker Kessler and were willing to offer the Jazz a lot to get him. And the fact that the Jazz are like, nope, we're not doing it. I think really shows that there is a strong commitment to bringing him back, matching whatever restricted free agent contract he gets, or hopefully maybe getting it done before then, and then coupling him with Jaren Jackson.
No, I think you're 100% right. I think part of the acquisition of Jackson was the thought that, man, would he play well next to Walk?
Yeah.
Because if you look at how great he was in Memphis, he always had a big guy. Most recently, Zach Edey down there that kind of takes on the majority of the rebounding. He's not a great rebounder, but Walker's like a vacuum all of a sudden. When Walker was healthy, it was not out of the norm to see him getting 15, 16, 17 rebounds a night. So to be able to couple those two guys together that don't have a lot of crossover is really appealing. I know this, not just at the trade deadline. I know that Walker has not just been a hot commodity at the trade line, but there's been several teams make runs at him during the ongoing year we're in.
Yeah.
Seeing that, maybe the Jazz will deal on this and have gotten, the offer the other day was a really good one, and they've gotten things similar to that. So I do believe that they're comfortable and confident that Walker's the guy. So
there's a couple things I take away from this. If you're a Jazz fan and you're grumpy about what's been going on with the Jazz and the commitment to losing and all of that, okay, you're past that. And there's a couple, obviously, the Jaren Jackson acquisition, that's number one. That's your number one sign that the Jazz are all in on getting this thing back on track to where it needs to be. They've bottomed it out, and now they're going to finish out this year, hopefully have a top 3, 4, 5 draft pick, hopefully holding on to it, period, and not losing it and conveying it to Oklahoma City. And then the fact that they had some really good offers for Walker Kessler. They said no. I'm sure they had really good offers for Larry Markkinen. They said no. If it was a year, 2 years ago, they may build assets on that Walker Kessler thing. Instead, they're like, nope, we're done with asset accumulation. We're going to go in with this roster. That doesn't mean that, based on what he's done over the last couple of games, that Isaiah Collier couldn't be available for opportunities to build back up that treasure chest. But honestly, you've seen your core. That's what your core is going to be next year.
Absolutely. And knowing all that prior to the Jaren Jackson deal, I've been saying all year that just as they were going, Walker comes back healthy before the Jaren Jackson move, I thought the Jazz would win 45 games. I think that this adds 5 to 10 more.
Yep.
And if you add 5 to 10 more, you're right in the middle of having something to do with the playoffs. And then it's just what's going on in the rest of the league. Who are we? Is it Jordan we got to face again? Or, is Wembanyama going to be this era's Jordan that the Jazz are going to have to fight? Who knows? But I do know that the team that they can throw out there, and I mentioned this yesterday, I've heard it, national guys say it. I've heard AI spit it back to me, but they slot 4 to 6 next year in the West, and I really do think that's probably pretty close.
I think you're right. All right, what you may have missed coming up next, you're listening to 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. That's the great Coach Tim Lacombe. I'm Scott Gerard, right here on The Zone.
You're listening to Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard hanging out with the coach, Tim Lacombe. He is my friend. We are friends.
We are.
Uh-oh. Did we turn your mic down?
Wow. Real friendly, Scotty.
Hey, Lloyd, no.
Jeez. Less of you, more of me.
That's not what I meant at all. All right, keep talking, Coach.
I'm back.
There we go.
We are friends. I said yesterday that I've never met you before in my life. I was just walking down the road, and you're like, pulled over. Hey, can you do a radio show with me?
You interested in doing radio?
Hey, you and the beanie.
Get on it. Hey, by the way, I'm all Team Beanie.
I'm Team Beanie every day. In fact, the last time.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. Yes, we did.
Give me a hug.
Get
you
over
big
here.
lug. No, the big
Scotty
lug's
loves
gone.
hugs. Give him some
you
hugs.
used to be a big lug. Now you're just
Now I'm just a
a
schlub.
svelte machine. This guy.
I don't know about that.
No, what was I had some very fun thing to say, but.
Well, I will say this. Coming up on Tuesday, we're going to be hanging out at My Hearing Center. Oh, it's about beanies.
Oh, yeah.
My Hearing Center, 8941 South 700 East. Make sure to stop by and say hi. Let's get you taken care of. Hearing. Look, my hearing's shot. I've been wearing headphones my whole life. Yeah, exactly. You've been in arenas your whole life. The music probably did more damage than the basketball crowds.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Tommy Lloyd. There are no dog days in my ears.
Yes.
I just hear what I hear. But everybody can use better hearing
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're dealing with it.
Yeah.
So.
But you got look, you may have hit the double nickel, but, dude, you're still rocking an impressive head of hair. You don't need to be wearing beanies. Guys like me need to be wearing beanies.
Well, I appreciate that, but I do wear a beanie because I like them. I think they're essential anymore in the wintertime. It just takes care of the old ears.
Yes.
A hat was always my thing, but the ears are cold. So went to beanies years ago, and I go in about 2 hours before game time at Jazz, and I just like to go in there, sit in the same seat every day. I'm a creature of habit, and I like to watch all the guys warm up to a certain point, and then I go up and get ready for the show. So oftentimes I'll have the beanie. Oftentimes I'll have this big trench coat, which you wear as well, which I bagged on you yesterday about. But I was sitting there in my trench coat and beanie, and one Danny Ainge walked out and saw me, and he mouthed, and I didn't think it was very nice, but he said, "Are you homeless?" And I said, "No. I mean, this is a very fine jacket."
No, it's a nice coat.
Is it because I was wearing a beanie, you asked me, you think?
Oh, I don't know. But I think that was just Danny trying to get under your skin a little bit.
Well, he's definitely that. He's always trying to look for an edge.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Don't play golf with him. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, he's a heck of a stick.
And he knows how to work the
play the mind
rulings.
games? Oh, I see that.
Yeah. He doesn't lose a lot.
That's not out of bounds. No.
No, can I get a ruling?
Yeah, exactly.
Austin, come here.
Yeah. Crew, I need your thoughts on this one. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on back, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, I know this is going to break every radio rule known to man, but I'm going to allow you to go a little Ron McBride, the late Lavelle Edwards. I'm going to let you try this spud nut live on the air. That's usually a big no-no, is to eat on the air, but the audience needs you to experience this for the first time.
Do I need to talk like Mac too?
Yes, there you go.
Okay, this is a really good spud nut.
There's a little bit of Rick Majerus in that.
I know. I get him in there. It's in the brain. Oh, my goodness.
I know,
gracious.
right?
The crunch.
I know. It's incredible.
Well, the problem is they brought me ice cream and a Spud Nut before the main dish.
That's all right. You'll have
like
room.
that. I was a Cubs fan.
The ice cream will just kind of work through the cracks, and you'll be fine. But that's the thing. Like, you get the big Spud Nut, and you got like it's the shape of a donut where it's got the hole in it, where they're like, well, you still deserve what was in the middle of it, so you get the donut and the donut hole on the top of it.
I need to practice my Hans commentary on food, like how he'd go, the crunch, just the right amount of butter, the glaze.
Yeah, it's the moans in between it too. The real guttural reaction. All right, joining us now, is a big part of the Utah Jazz organization, helping out on the broadcast side as well. And, of course, you know him and remember him as a longtime member of the Utah Jazz, CJ Miles. CJ, how are you?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good.
CJ, Timmy, how are you, man? I appreciate you jumping on short notice.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Had the opportunity to do a full pregame with CJ and got to know him pretty well a couple weeks ago. So it's great to have you on. I just wanted to get your thoughts on, I guess, the first and foremost, the big news. Jaren Jackson Jr., a couple days now, but what's your thoughts on him coming to Salt Lake City and the fit?
I think it's a great trade, honestly. Like, obviously, you hate to see guys go. Like, especially for me, seeing Walt go in that trade, I thought there was a lot of promise for him, but I think it's also going to be good for him on the other side. But with Jaren, just he checks a lot of boxes, right? Like, obviously add some more length, add some versatility, and spread the floor some. Great shot blocker. He's a tremendous talent. Fits the age group that they're in, right? And fits the trajectory that we thought this team would be on the next couple of years, and they showcased it by making this trade.
How much of a statement is that this long rebuild process might have an end date to it? That, like, finally you can really focus on winning games? Because I don't know if you had the interaction on Twitter with a lot of fans, but there's a lot of celebration going on with the feeling like, okay, finally we can get back to business.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things you look at with it is it also is a testament to the work of the coaching staff and the players that allows them to make this move, to see just the expedition of the guys and their talent, right? Seeing guys get better, seeing Keontae's jump, seeing the guys off the bench getting better, even seeing Laurie when he's been healthy, being an all-star here, doing these different things, and just being able to see pieces clearly is what allows them to be able to go make that trade. So it's a big, big congratulations to, like, the player development and the guys being willing to work on themselves.
CJ, as we talked while you were in studio, and I think this is pretty widely known, but you've got a really great and unique relationship with Keontae George and have had his whole life. Would you kind of just go through this jump from your eyes like you did that night for those that didn't hear it, and just what Keontae's had to do for this to be a reality?
I think the biggest thing is just seeing his growth mentally, right? Like, it lets you know more about what type of person and young man he is and becoming, right? Because you see a lot of talented, skillful guys coming to this league. And over the past few years, with the injection of a lot of younger players, guys with the opportunity to become great players in this league and just not being able to put the pieces together. So I think him really having a vision of who he is and who he wants to be is the main part of this. And then allowing the bumps and bruises to be turned into wisdom and not weight on his shoulders and worry on his shoulders. He took every hit and everything into his summers and broke them down and turned things that were deemed as weaknesses into strengths, and started to see how defenses played him, and started to listen to what Will wanted from him, and started to see how his body language was affecting his game and the people around him, and all these different things. And you just see a conscious effort of making those things strengths, because if you want to be the leader of a team and a star player in this league in a long time, you have to take the hints. You have to take the commentary and the coaching the hard way. Like, a lot of guys come in now because they're such big stars their whole lives, they aren't able to take that readjustment period that it takes to become one at another level.
And just so everybody knows, you played high school basketball at Skyline in Dallas with Keontae's father, correct?
Yes, I went. So his mom and dad both went to Skyline High School, played basketball. So I'm friends with both of them. And me and his dad played together. And his dad went on to have a decent college career and play overseas for a long time.
Awesome. And, of course, Skyline High School, home of El Larry Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Grandmama.
I didn't know that.
And
Yes.
Michael Johnson. And Michael
Johnson.
Wow.
Yes.
And C.J. Miles, who
And
is
C.J. Miles.
is not
absolutely.
just a great basketball guy, but one hell of a photographer. You got to check out his stuff. Yeah, I've been impressed, CJ. I've been watching, man.
Thank you so much.
You know, CJ, I want to go back and pretend for a moment that you're a senior at Skyline High School, but it's the current landscape of college athletics. Would you have gone to Texas for a year?
Yeah. And I don't even say that because of the NIL situation and stuff like that. I just say that because of just knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just I'm not saying I regret anything, but I know what I could have benefited from it. And I know what that year would do for me as just a human being, right? Like in preparation for going to what I was going to. But yes. And then because of the NIL stuff, also, I would definitely go.
You'd have a little more quid, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't hurting. I know that, but you'd have just a little more.
But just the landscape of it, and it allows you to build a certain type of equity also, right? Like, and learn the landscape of making deals and doing certain things and kind of set your trajectory. Like, coming in past years, like, you're kind of trying to figure out what things align with you. And a lot of times when you're young in your career, you do things just because they're paying you. When you're coming up through NIL, you're able to kind of like map out things that align with your personality, and people start to get to know you, and you can align with certain brands that get calls from other brands and things like that. You don't have to make as many decisions just off of, let me make as much money as fast as I can because I don't know how long this will last.
It's a great point. CJ Miles joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. CJ, when you look at this team and you look at the talent level on this team, throw in Jaren Jackson, and let's just assume Walker Kessler is back next year, and then Ace Bailey continues his development, and then you throw in, hopefully a top 5 draft pick. Just how good could the Jazz be next year? Not long term, but just next year.
I think we see a tremendous jump, and I think they're on the trajectory that we see great teams that build from the ground up go through, right? Like, next year you start to insert expectation, and there's going to be still, I know we're going to get excited, and there's going to be some things that we feel like they should be able to do because of the talent level that they're still not going to be able to do because there's going to be an adjustment in the mindset and approach to the game, because there's a lot of things from the last couple of years that you have to kind of like let happen because you're trying to get guys experience. So now we're going to have to address a lot of bad habits that we used to let go. Like, I used to leave a guy in for not doing something 2 times. Now I got to yank him because I got to show him the importance of not being on the nail or not being over in help side or not communicating on the screen or a bad shot. I have to like heighten his senses to what's good and bad now, because down the stretch, that's what's going to make the difference in winning now that we have the talent, because everybody in the league has talent. Now it's the mental side that's going to change. The conditioning is going to change, and we have to build that up next. But they're going to be so great. There's so much length. I got to think about the different types of lineups, because you can play Keontae off the ball with Isaiah, or you can play Keontae with Ace at the 2, Laurie, Kessler, and Jaren. Now you have this big lineup. You have all these different things you can play with now and these pieces, and we don't even know who the pick's going to be.
Yeah, that's the comment I made after the move, is that the thing I see watching, and I was a college coach, so I watched college, most of my life and watched the NBA recreationally. But now, over the last 6 years, I've literally watched 82 games every single season. You see the trends, you see what's going on. But with what the Jazz have, in your opinion and mine, they can play matchup bingo all night long against rosters that aren't constructed right, and they're going to try to put a 6'4" dude on Lowry, or and that's the one thing Will's shown me in the time that I've watched. He knows how to attack the weak link on the court and does it often.
Yeah, he's a student of the game, obviously, from that pop tree. All those guys are, right?
Yeah.
But I think the roster that's built, to your point, they're building something capable of any storm. And that's been the biggest key with the league now, is the versatility. And there's not a lack of players that are versatile now also that you can pick from. There's plenty of 6'8", 6'9" guys that can play different things and do different things, and that's what's coming about. And they're putting the right guys together, and it's been great to watch.
Do you ever look at the league right now and think to yourself, man, if I was 25 years old in the league,
All the time. He's just going to finish it.
All the time. All the time. I was too early. Too early. Even when I first came in the league, because we were a part of that wave of even the Jazz changing into playing faster and doing different things, right? Like just the way that I was raised up playing basketball and the creativity that came from just kind of the freedom. There was still a lot of systems in the league at that time, and that was this adjustment to that, especially when you're a high school kid coming up who's been able to do whatever you want on the floor, not in a bad way, but just be able to be creative because you've been given that, and everybody puts you on a leash, right? And you're just man. And then they start shooting threes because you got guys. I told this the other day. When I was in Toronto, there were games I'd check in the game, and the assistant coach was you got to get 10 threes up tonight.
Yeah.
Me individually. We were lucky if we shot 18 threes as a team.
Absolutely. I've gone back and looked at the box score. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking at your career stats, and your first, I would say, 3-4 years in the league, the highest three attempts per game was 2009, 2010, where you were able to get 3 attempts per game. But then, you mentioned in Indiana, and then later on in Toronto, you're 6.5, 7. Because
and I arguably probably should have shot more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the crazy part, CJ, is there nowadays in 3 minutes before the first time out, there's 4 guys on the court that have squeezed off 3. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The pace.
And we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
That's why no games are really out of reach anymore because 3 possessions is a 10-point run.
Exactly.
If you do it the right way, and it's happening so fast. So we can get 3 possessions, we can score 9 or 12 points in a minute and a half, if that. Sometimes.
By the way, you have any good Jerry Sloan stories? I can't imagine some of this stuff.
Hey, I was just going to ask you, CJ. tell the story you told me because I thought that was really just when he put you in the game and got a little resistance.
About him being fair. So I always tell people he's the fairest coach that I ever had. And there's no offense to any of the coaches. I love Bogle. I love Mike Brown. I love Case. I love them all. But he was the first one. I'll say the first one that I saw that worked this way. But there was a time when I was young and I was doing everything that they asked me to do. I was working my tail off in practice, having good practice, doing the extra work, doing all these things. And we didn't have the D League. The G League wasn't really what it was. We didn't really have a lot of player development. So there weren't a lot of ways that I could really continue to develop without playing. And we go to Houston. And it's one of the first times my family can really come to a game, and I'm actually dressing out. I'm on the actual active roster and all these things. And I remember the game's going on, and Jerry and Phil are talking. Phil did all the subs, and Jerry and Phil kind of get into a little tiff. And Jerry's I hear Jerry scream out, he deserves to play. And he puts me in the game. And he fought for me to get in the game, even breaking rotation. And then he ran the first 3 plays that I was in the game through me. He put me at point to handle it one time, and he did something else. I didn't play a lot, but just the fact that he went out of his way to do that, and he gave his tickets for my parents to sit closer for it, the whole 9, everything he did for me that night, is one of the things that really sticks in my mind of just him, showing that he saw me, right? And he was doing everything he could with what we had at that time as far as the way things were done, right? And he's greatly appreciated. He's one of my favorites.
A lot of people think that Jerry was the bad cop and Phil was the good cop. Sometimes that was switched. Jerry was the good cop and Phil was the bad cop. Yeah.
But they definitely switched because there's a story. I think I told him the story about Phil too. Phil, I came out of the game from guarding Rip Hamilton back when he was in Detroit one time. And I come out, and Rip is just giving me the business because he's just running me to death, right? And I come to the bench exhausted, I'm head down, I'm pissed, right? And he comes over, and he's laughing at me, literally hysterically. He sits beside me, and I look at him, I'm like, what's the deal? This is the end of the first quarter, and he goes, you look like Rip trying to guard Jeff Hornacek when Jeff was doing the same thing. And I was like, that's funny and all, but tell me how to stop him. Don't laugh at me, right? Tell me something.
Oh, man. Hey, who in the league right now would you pay actual money for to watch that you're okay, I need to watch this guy?
And Edwards.
Okay.
Love him. I love KD. I love to watch KD play basketball. But Ant Edwards, KD, I love Shea. I love watching Oklahoma City play because they just play so hard and unapologetic, right? They don't care if they fouled you. Like, they don't care.
That's exactly
they don't
right.
change it. They don't change it if they fouled you either. It's like, well, we know we got away with it, or we should have got, or we're just going to play the same way. Wemby, obviously, and I'm down here in San Antonio, so I've done that multiple times already. Who else?
Jokic.
Speaking of Jokic, and then speaking of also on KD's team, the twin, I always mix their names up. Which one is in Thompson?
It's Amen there.
I love him.
Yeah.
Amen, yes, I love him. He's like to me, he's Ron Artest times 3.
Yes.
Like, and I mean the Ron Artest that I met when I first got in the league. That was scoring, and that was the Indiana Ron Artest, not the one
not
later
Meta World
with
Peace.
Kobe. Yeah, not that one. Yeah, Sacramento, Indiana, that Ron Artest.
All right, so you've forgotten more about basketball than I'll ever know. So I need you to help. I need you to explain this one to me. Harden seems like he's going to take the ball. Donovan Mitchell needs to have the ball in his hands. It seems like that's going to be a little bit less in Cleveland. Do you think Cleveland got better with that trade?
I don't know. That one's tricky. But I do know that James has shown us in a real point guard role that he can do it and he has no problem doing it. I think he does add some different things than Darius Garland. And I think, they're different bodies, different experiences, right? But I will take James in the pick and roll over a lot of people in the league, though. And
the problem is going to be the other end, bro.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
nobody to guard.
So with the two bigs they have offensively in the pick and rolls with him, he's going to have a field day. But like you said, but that's the same thing. I'm no shot to anybody, but Darius Garland wasn't really guarding.
No, he wasn't. No.
So if it could be better for them.
True.
Because you get a really prolific, the type of things that James is going to do. Not that Darius can't, but there's some added things that James has and has proven to have that Darius hasn't had the chance to yet.
You know what's interesting? I got to imagine when you go down and you're watching a shoot-around or you're watching, pregame warm-ups, and back in the day, it was Jerry, it was Phil, and then, a couple other assistants, and that was it. Now it seems like there's an assistant coach and trainer for each individual player. Do you kind of giggle a little bit when you see that?
Yeah, that we talked about that too last time I was up in Utah. Just there's no coincidence in the guys being so skilled now.
Right.
They've had trainers since they were young, and now then all the player development in the league, right? It's just about translating and understanding where to put the skill. Now everybody's got so much skill they don't know what to do with it. So they get in the game and they try to be everything. And a lot of guys aren't meant to be everything. But they work on everything, and sometimes you kind of got to be disciplined in a box a little bit before you get to expand. So we can get you these opportunities that expand your minutes to get to that. But yeah, there's so much, and it's a great thing to see, but it's now guys get in the game and some of them don't know how to reel it in.
CJ, we got to do this more often, man. We appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
Hey, and follow CJ if you don't on Twitter because you can see his awesome. He just posted 19 hours ago some cool pictures of Texas high school basketball at Moss Fresco. And it's that on everything. Yeah, Moss Fresco on Instagram, Twitter, anywhere you look in, you'll find it that way. I appreciate the shout out. The theme of the day has been authenticity, and you fit that bill. Awesome to have you on. Thanks so much on short notice for coming, and we'll talk soon. For sure. Yes, sir. I'll see you soon. I'm back up there soon.
Let's do it.
Just give me a warning so I know not to get I got you. I got you. All right. See you, man. CJ Miles, I just like we talked about with Tommy Lloyd right out of the gate, the thing I've really enjoyed about my journey through 20-something years in sport is the people. Got down here to Bar W Beef today, and one of the first things I asked Bart about were some of the people I know in Nephi. And just so y'all know, the Lacombe name, the Lacombe coaching name in Nephi is a thing. My uncle Gary Lacombe coached at Juab High School. So I don't know if some of these people are scarred from him that are walking by, but if so, I apologize.
That seems to be about that generation there.
Yeah, I know, and I wondered if there was. I thought I saw a head pull you were that psycho's nephew. No.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
It is your good, it is your bad, it is your ugly right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Tim Lacombe, the legend, hanging out with me. I'm Scott Gerard. Hope you're all having a tremendous day. By the way, let's start with the good. NFL honors last night. How about former Aggie Bobby Wagner named the NFL Man of the Year? The Walter Payton Man of the Year that goes to the player that's meant the most to the community and on the field. It's just like, it's the one of, outside of maybe Player of the Year, probably the most prestigious individual honor you can get.
And what a speech.
Oh, I know, right?
What a speech. Honored his mother. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But always been a big fan of him as a player, but almost more as a person. He just has always been that guy.
And by the way, speaking of Bobby Wagner's speeches, he will be the commencement speaker at Utah State coming up this spring.
You were last year, right?
No. I can't even, like there is
score.
There's no way they would let me even back into that room. Like the arena and the stadium, they're cool with. Like you can be there, but anything academic related, no. You got to get away from there.
I would love to just go up and put your stuff down. You know, people get themselves organized, but just take 20 minutes with a lot of throat clears.
Yeah. All right, is this thing on?
That'd be very authoritative.
Yeah. There's your good. But just a great representative of Utah. Remember, this was a guy that he was recruited by, and Lloyd will remember this, and you probably remember this as well. This was the dark years of Utah State football. Brent Guy recruited Bobby Wagner, and then he got fired, and then some guy named Gary Anderson came in and took over, and he had Robert Turbin and Bobby Wagner, and both those guys end up getting drafted the same year by the Seahawks, and it was off to the races ever since. You
know, of all the people I know in the state, I've never met Gary Anderson.
Are you serious?
Mm-mm. And I've heard everybody would be like, oh, you guys would get along.
Oh, yeah. You and Gary get along really well.
So anyhow, you might need to make that happen.
I will make.
I've heard great things about the dude.
Gary is the best. I mean, he yells at me if I don't stay at his house in Logan on a snowy night after a basketball game. Like, he is literally one of the nicest people. Although, when he talks to you, it's in a very aggressive way. And so you have to, sort through. But he is one of the most generous people you'll ever meet.
Like aggressive, like in your face or what?
Why
curse?
Why the bleep didn't you bleep and stay in my bleeping house? No, I'm joking. He's
not like that. Not like that. But was that our guy back?
Yeah, that was Lloyd.
He was my classmate. Did I tell you that?
Yes, you did.
Oh.
How often did he skip class, by the way?
No, that dude was valiant.
Never.
Never.
Really?
Me?
Wow.
It was me, actually, about 3 times a week and say, Lloyd, can I get your notes?
But Lloyd was Mr. Automatic, huh?
But, of course, even though I was a little reticent to be part of the group, they made me the star of the show.
Oh,
I had to be the guy that knocked on doors looking for people to exterminate.
Well,
it was a very dark film.
A little older, it felt right.
Whoa, Lloyd.
That was a little low for a second day, Lloyd. What are we doing?
Welcome to the show today.
Welcome to the family. All right, there's your good. Let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
So, speaking of the NFL honors last night, Tiffany Haddish announcing the Coach of the Year. It was Mike Vrabel, well-deserved, taking over the Patriots, turning him into a 4-win team to a 13-win team and on the cusp of a Super Bowl title. But let's just say that he may not be a household name in her home.
The 2025 AP Coach of the Year is Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is busy preparing for the Super Bowl.
Oh, Verbal.
Mike Verbal.
Like, Aren't you going to check that?
2025
Wasn't that the name of the
Coach
dude in
of the Year is
Unusual Suspects? Or the
Mike
usual verbal
Verbal.
Verbal.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was
Wow.
verbal. You're right.
Was she all over that or what?
Yeah, and then she doubles down on it. Mike Verbal. If you're even remotely confused, you're like, yes, he is taking over the Patriots, and they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl. Oh, man.
What do you get? What do you get? The hard R, Gerard.
I get that
when
a lot.
people walk
Yeah.
around the corner for an appointment.
Yeah.
Scott Gerard.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I understand that. It's no big deal.
I
And
get-
I'll say Gerard. But
I get Lackham.
I bet you've dealt with
I
it.
get Lackham, and I get Lancome. I'd love to be a Lancome. I'd have way more.
Well, that's what Siri says when you
Money.
say ask Siri to call Tim. It goes calling Tim Lackham.
Really?
Yes.
Well, when I say call Lloyd Cole, it says, "Oh, that angry guy."
Yeah. Calling Super Mad Jerk.
Wow, that was
Pronto.
That was,
Hey, if you're coming at us, we're coming right
That was
back
a
at
little
you. We
uncalled
just
for.
got food in our bellies.
Oh, all right. There you go. Good, the bad, the ugly. Remember, this segment brought to you in part by University of Utah Health. Go to uofuhealth.org for you for life. All right. In the 2 o'clock hour, again, we will have a chance to go to the Super Bowl and catch up with Jeremiah Jensen. He will join us coming up at 2:05 from Santa Clara. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are live here at Bar Dub Grill, soon to be Bar W Steakhouse. It'll all be housed in the same building. And by the way, you want to talk about how important the priority in which they look at everything here. It's even the quality of the building that they build.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, this looks like an incredible farmhouse, and then you got a silo that's built right into the wall. I mean, it's crazy what they've done here.
They made it definitely homey too. Like that steakhouse is going to be. I guarantee you, that's going to be a destination location for so many people.
Yeah. So what you may have missed right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, as you mentioned earlier, as we talked about earlier in the show, Jazz get some opportunities last night on the road against Atlanta. Another 48-minute performance by Isaiah Collier. And, I understand Keontae has had himself a great year. I really like the development of Isaiah Collier that we've seen.
I have too. I was a fan of him early because the one thing you look for with players is guys that can do something at an elite level.
Yeah.
And it was very telling even in Summer League, his ability to get to his spot on the floor and find guys. And, he's taken another step. I mean, he had his career high last night. The coolest part about last night, it was home. The night before, he had his jersey retired at Wheeler High School in Atlanta. And then to be able to go play in Atlanta against the Hawks, get your, play 48 minutes, get your career high in points. And much like I said, he's getting to a spot and finding the right pass. He's now getting to his spot, and he did time after time last night against a smaller C.J. McCollum. They attacked that mismatch. He got it right there in the sweet spot, and he's able to really score the basketball at a high level last night. So, there's a lot of those stories, though, Scotty, like a lot of guys making moves.
Is there a certain point where a guy is what he is as a shooter? I mean, can you really improve the shooting ability of a guy at Isaiah Collier's age?
I think you can get a little bit better. I mean, I think I watched his college film, and I didn't think there was any hope.
Yeah.
And he's actually really, it's when do you shoot him? You obviously get spots where the way that defense is guarding you, you have to take the shot. You have to put it on the glass, or otherwise it's going to get awkward. And so I think I wouldn't put anything past this Jazz crew, this development crew, because as I said, I go in there and watch them, and it's a tightly run thing, and they've got each guy on a certain protocol or program, and I'm bullish on Isaiah Collier, but I'm also I think there's a little bit of improvement left in his shot. I do.
And it's just, you always hear coaches say, well, back in the day, I used to hear this a lot, where it's like you get to a certain age and that shot is what it is. And now I'm starting to hear other coaches say, no, there's some things we can work on. There's some things we can do to get better. And so that makes me feel like, okay, you know what, in the right kind of time in the gym and everything else, that if that level comes up, then watch out for him.
Well, technology's changed so much. And I think at one point maybe that was the case because you really only worked with certain people, right? The world's so big now. You can get access to people via, podcast. There's lots of different things you can do to dig into the mechanics of your shot, and then there's all sorts of people you can work with. So I think you can mechanically change your shot, but just like anything, it's got to be a mindset change.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're listening to Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, I know that a lot of media members down in the Super Bowl are getting all cranky because I guess like the team hotel or the media hotels in San Jose, then there's other things going on in San Francisco and the stadiums in Santa Clara. And so everybody's like, oh, woe is me, boo-hoo. But you know what? It's still a Super Bowl, and you probably shouldn't complain. I know one guy who's not complaining. That's Jeremiah Jensen. And by the way, Jeremiah, friend of the show, friend of the station, how are you?
Thank you. Scotty, I'm a friend?
Yes, you are a friend.
Of Scotty's, not mine.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I love you, bro.
Well, no, on Monday.
I love you too, Coach. It's an honor to be a friend, Scotty. I appreciate it.
Well, so I came back on Tuesday, and we got this name, and we're as we kind of work out what the show's going to look like going forward, and I got JJ and Alex looking at me like, so we're not friends? I'm like, no, you guys are friends. Absolutely, you're friends,
colleagues.
But more importantly,
I appreciate you making it official.
Peer.
Yes. What's the scene like down there? Have they got you guys spread out all over the place? I hear people complaining about it.
I don't know who's complaining. Let me tell you, we're doing great. It's obviously San Francisco. The city's crazy. Driving around San Francisco is insane. We flew in this morning. We got our bearings. We made it to the media check-in. We got our credentials. We're at the Park 55 Hotel in San Francisco. It's close to where the Jazz usually stay when they play the Warriors here, just right here in that spot. I mean, it is downtown as downtown gets, which is probably what a lot of people are complaining about. It's just busy. There's just not anywhere to park, or the traffic's terrible. But we're here. The media center's there. We're going to be fine. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, we got to go do our live shots tonight in Santa Clara, which is 45 miles south. We'll figure it out. It is a little bit of it's congested. Things are spread out where you need to be and go. It's just unfortunate that stadium's so far away, and I'm not sure why they put people downtown when the game's in San Jose, basically. But that's okay. I mean, we're grateful to be here. It's an incredible experience covering the Super Bowl. I'm grateful to be here, and we're ready to have some fun.
How many Super Bowls have you covered, JJ?
This will be my fourth. So we do every Super Bowl that's on KSL TV, they send a crew out. And so it's funny, the first Super Bowl I covered was Patriots Seahawks.
Wow.
In Glendale. That was my first Super Bowl in person. So it's kind of weird that I get that same matchup again. But it's number 4 for me, and it's an incredible experience. And I have to keep that in perspective that no matter all these people complaining, it's kind of funny to me because they're all getting paid to come here and be a part of something that's incredible that the entire world's watching, and you can't lose sight of that and be grateful for it.
All right. Would you rather cover a Super Bowl or what Sam's doing at the Olympics?
I've done both.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about the Olympics. It's incredible. It doesn't happen very often. Every 2 years for the summer and the winter, I had the opportunity to go do Tokyo during the pandemic, and it was wild. I was in quarantine for 9 days when we first got there. We had 15 minutes to leave the hotel, go to a 7-Eleven, get our food, and come back. It was a wild experience. Once we got through quarantine, I got to experience the greatest city in the world. Tokyo is unbelievable. The flip side of that is you're away from your family for 25 days in a foreign country. They work you to the bone around the clock because of the time differences. It's a grind. It is a hard work. So when you're watching our KSL crew on TV, yes, they are standing there in the Dolomites, at the base of the Dolomites in Cortina. It's unbelievable what they're seeing and experiencing, but they are working 24/7. It's crazy, the demand of the Olympics. So I would rather cover a Super Bowl because I'm not going to be here for 25 days.
Well, JJ, hang out for just a bit. We've got another caller coming in right now, and joining us from Milan right now is the owner of the Utah Jazz. That is Ryan Smith. Ryan, how are you?
Hey, what's up, guys? How we doing?
What's going on, Ryan? How's things over there? You holding everything down on that side of the world?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good view. It's people are getting ready. It's starting to feel the Olympic spirit, which is good, and it's pretty daunting and exciting that we're going to have this thing in Utah again. It's real. It's becoming real.
Well, you're in a 5-letter city, Milan. We're in a 5-letter city, Nephi. I drove down to Nephi this morning. I'll tell you what, it was a beautiful drive. But just a little different geography between the two of us. Hey, big stuff this week with the Jazz, and obviously a major move bringing in, just a phenomenal player in Jaren Jackson Jr. Your thoughts?
So first of all, I mean, I think we've said we'd be patient. I mean, I think it's, the NBA is an interesting thing. I think you're seeing a lot of change that's happened in the NBA over the last few years around player movement, around value, around teams kind of not wanting to be in the middle. And, we've said we'd be ready. We said we'd be opportunistic. I don't think you could predict timing. Jaren's someone that we'd wanted and inquired about for a few years now. I know Danny's liked him for a long time, and the window opened up very briefly, and, Austin did an absolutely fabulous job. So I thought he handled the deadline as well as he could have. He did incredible, and for us to land someone like Jaren, who fits perfectly with Lowry and Walker, it should be pretty exciting for everybody who follows it. They're going to take a little while to get to play together, everyone, as Walker's out for the year. And, I think, we'll kind of see it all gel, but it's pretty exciting.
How much of the accelerated progress of Keontae George this year allowed you to pull the trigger on a trade like this?
Yeah, I don't think, I think when Jaren comes available, you definitely look at Jaren and, you hope you're the team that, can make it all line up. And a lot of these things you don't know. And, we've had our nose in a lot of things, as a lot of teams did this trade deadline. And, some were happy, some weren't. You just got to be putting yourself in position, and more than that, have the assets that, to be honest, other teams want. And this one worked out in our favor. But, Keontae definitely helps that. I think if you look at the way he's been growing, the way he carries himself, his energy, his competitiveness, his drive to win, his big shot moments, I don't think there's anyone who's watched Keontae that isn't just kind of amazed at the steps that he's taking, and he's doing it all the right way. I mean, he'll have multiple games where it'll be 20, 25 points in the first half, and a lot of players would be coming out and chucking the second half, and he actually passes the first 5 or 6 times he touches the ball, and that's just a level of maturity that he's developed. But Will Hardy is one of the greatest talent developers that we've got in the NBA and in basketball. And if you look at the development that's going on, even if you look at the last couple of games with Cody now, and you're looking at Isaiah, he's got a talent for that. And we're fortunate to have him. And, that partnership between him and Keontae, him and Lowry, now him and Jaren, him and Walker, it's special, and we can't wait to kind of put it all together.
I mean, I run into you every now and again because you're so crazy busy, but I remember seeing you before the season, and you just said, watch Keontae, bro. I think that's what you told me. How did you know? I mean, is that just something – I know you got a pulse on everything, but what were the signs that, that it was coming back a little bit different?
Well, I mean, Keontae has he has it. I mean, there's just no way around anyone who's around him. He's just got it. He wants the ball. He wants the moment. He's there. For me personally, I remember I was there during this draft workout. I knew the moment Danny fell in love with him. He was doing a drill. We have one of our guys who's about 6'7", 6'8", and he had cones on his hands, and they were blocking him. So he was standing reach about 10-3, and Keontae went around, and this guy just swatted the ball out of the way. And then the next play, Keontae's like, I'll just shoot a quick three, and he blocked his shot from the foul line. And there was another guy working out too. But the third time, Keontae literally lowered his shoulder and put the guy about 5 feet under the hoop and laid it in and had some choice words for him.
I love that.
And came back with the ball. And I just looked over at Danny, and he was like, all right, that's my guy. And so I think, but for me this year, it's just watching Keontae's work all summer long. No one asked him to do what he did. He just wants to be better. He wants to get better. And, he's a leader. He's an absolute leader.
I'm always fascinated how trades come together, and I know there's some that there's a lot of conversations for several weeks, and it's got a slow build. This one with Jaren Jackson felt like it came together pretty quick. Is that a fair way to categorize it?
Yeah, Austin, like I said, Austin did a phenomenal job. And, I'm sure, I think he checked on Jaren for a long time, as did pretty sure every team in the league. And, he went with his gut. He put together an offer that was compelling. He listened, he collaborated, and he really partnered with Memphis to get something done. And, a lot of times you want to do a trade or you want to do something, but does the other team see what you're offering, help them for where they're going? And that can come in multiple different pictures, whether it's young players, or whether it's this. And sometimes, really trying to understand their picture and understand how we can do what we want to do, but also help them, knowing that we're all going to have to sacrifice a little bit, is how truly a deal gets done. And I think Austin did a really good job with that. And, some of our young players we had to, part with, but that's just the way the business works. If you want to get someone like Triple J, like that's how it's going to have to go. And, we had accumulated a lot of picks. I think what I'm most excited about is if you look at our core, where it's Keontae, Walk, Jaren, Lowry, you've got Ace, you look at Zay, Bryce, and to be in this spot where we've got a runway, but we also aren't down picks, and we still have assets in front of us, is a pretty exciting position to be in, because that lengthens the window that you have in the league. I mean, we grew up with teams having 4 to 7 year windows. If a team can get a 3-year window right now, you've done something right. And, that's just the way today's collective bargaining agreement works, and the way that, we're watching. If you look at where teams have gotten really close and then have to tear it down, it's because they run out of cap space or assets. And, that was the case in the first iteration of the Jazz. There was just nowhere to go right when we took over. We were just, we'd already been negative picks. There was no place to go. I remember the year, we signed Mike Conley back. If we didn't get him, there was no cap space to even replace him. You were essentially replacing him with a two-way player at minimum. And that's typically what hamstrings teams. It's nothing more than that. But that's the rule of our league. And I think for us, what excites us, the youth, the flexibility, and now we're moving this thing forward, what we have in the tank.
Well, I want to make sure we give equal time, because the guys that play on that frozen stuff are playing pretty well lately, and you've got to be pretty excited about that. And we're all hockey people. I will say that the temperature in the Delta Center, I go in 82 times a year, whether it's home or road, to do those games. I never take my coat off anymore because they got to keep that thing cooler. But give us your thoughts on where the hockey team is right now and the Mammoth and what's going on with them.
Yeah, look, I mean, if at the end of the day we'd be in the playoffs, I was proud of our team for making a really good push the last part of the break. It is weird that, because of the Olympics, they shut down. So the NHL is officially shut down for 2.5 to 3 weeks. And that's a unique part of, stopping the season right in the middle and sending people off to the Olympics. But it was pretty cool. I just got to watch Veggie, walk down and be there by his flag with his country. And that's a pretty cool thing to see because you can see how much it means to him and Veggie, JJ, Olimata, and obviously Kells are all representing their country over here. And so I think that's an important part of the NHL. But going into that break, I mean, it's competitive. We really need to win every game. And they did that. I mean, it's pretty easy for a team to get distracted the other night where you're 2 periods away from going to Mexico or Hawaii for most of the team. And they banded together and, really put their foot on the throats of the Detroit Red Wings. And, that was a moment for us. And, they've done this and gone on this, 11 game, winning, 9 or 10 of them without Logan Cooley and, a banged up Gunther for a little bit of it. And they're just finding ways to win. And that's what good teams do. So I think for me, it's absolutely exciting. I'm just humbled at the way that Utah's, kind of rallied around this idea of hockey. And, it's been special. And it's pretty fun to think about where we're going to be with the Jazz kind of going into next year and where hockey is going to be. It's a good time to be a sports fan in the state.
Well, there's no doubt, and especially with what's coming up in 8 years from now with Salt Lake City and Utah hosting another Olympics. What do you hope to learn in your time over there in Milan? What's the goals that you can take and bring back so that this place is going to be rocking in 8 years, which I'm sure it will, knowing you and the other people that are involved. Showcasing this state at that level is a unique opportunity, and I'm sure you guys are going to do everything you can to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, there's a group of us over here, and, we all kind of have different roles. But, for me personally, it's really trying to understand a little bit of the strategy of the venues and, how we, including opening ceremonies and just around how we help, understand the message of Utah that we want to get out there for the world. And really the experience of downtown Salt Lake. What's the experience from the time someone lands at the airport to, getting into their hotel, travel, logistics, to, the game fields and the venues that we have. I mean, we're hosting hockey at the Delta Center. The new downtown development will be done by then. And, we're here, just wrapping up opening ceremonies right now and seeing, okay, how's that going to work? And, they've got 3 different venues that they're doing, some sort of opening ceremonies at. And, I think the other thing is trying to understand how do we have Utahns have an Olympic experience, not just the 45,000 people that can get into Rice-Eccles or whatever that number is. And, I remember being in college and, I couldn't afford to go to the Olympics. And so what are we doing? How are we treating events? How are we doing it different? And there's a lot of innovation that's happened, with LA 28, for example, opening ceremonies are going to be at SoFi, which is where the Rams and the Chargers play. But something that's super interesting is aquatics are going to be there as well. And so basically they built a swimming pool to do swimming in front of 65, 70,000 people. And that changes the entire experience of the Olympics. They're raising the field 15 feet of, where USC plays to be able to do different things. And so the innovation that's happening around the games to open up the aperture of these experiences to highlight our state, it's pretty neat. It's exciting. It's fun. We've got a lot of great people that are helping out, and it's a labor of love for everyone. And Utah's a special place because there's just so many people that care about their state. So.
Hey, you should have called me back then. That was the one time I could have hooked you up financially and got you a ticket because I was, I had enough money to get into those venues back then. I had some connections, right? You should have known me then, but it's okay. You'll enjoy this one. Hey, thanks so much for taking time, man. I know you're so busy.
No worries, guys.
We sure appreciate it and appreciate all you do for the state. And
absolutely,
we're behind you, bro. No,
it's going to be good. We're going to go on a big run here, so I hope everyone's excited.
Oh yeah,
I know Jaron is, and it's kind of a piece, and I think from our side, I mean, the exciting part is definitely the young guys watching Isaiah and Cody and Ace fly all over the court last night. Duncan, I mean, I stayed up 4 a.m. watching the game, and it was impressive watching our young guys play. And so now is a really good time for them to get a lot of run and grow. And, these are NBA players. And, it's amazing what happens to NBA players when you give them a shot.
Ryan, can't thank you enough. Appreciate it. Enjoy your time over there, and look forward to catching up again here very soon.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, Ryan.
There he is, Ryan Smith, owner of the Utah Mammoth, the Utah Jazz. He and his wife, Ashley, and, boy, I tell you what, like, that trade, the way the Mammoth are playing, things are really starting to click right now.
You can see it.
Yeah, the momentum's there.
I think playoffs this year for the Mammoth, and I think Jazz will be back out. We'll be out on the plaza doing games before playoffs next year. I think we're in that mode.
Well, big thanks to Jeremiah Jensen. He's going to join us. He kindly stepped aside for a moment. We'll chat with him coming up next segment. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
JJ, I'm sorry. I felt bad about that. But
hey, some friends are more important than others.
I knew that was coming.
Okay.
I knew that was coming.
It's all right. Don't apologize. I get it.
I saw in my mind, I saw the hook like they used to do in the cartoons.
Yeah.
You're like in mid-sentence.
Oh, man.
I feel horrible.
But you know what? Do you know how I feel right now? I feel like a comedian, a stand-up comedian in the 1980s that finally landed that opportunity to be on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And he waits the whole entire show. And he's ready to go. He's got his act ready to go. And they tell him, sorry, dude, we don't have any time. Burt Reynolds went too long.
Well, in this case, it was actually start with your monologue and right in the middle of it.
Yeah, right in the monologue. We had to. Oh man, Lloyd.
Even worse, right?
Yeah,
even worse.
Lloyd sent me the text. He's like, Ryan Smith is on the line. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be really awkward and uncomfortable.
Hey, in all seriousness, that's awesome. I'm here, and I wasn't ready to go. I wanted to hear it, but it's awesome you guys got Ryan, and I'm sure he was great.
Yeah, he was. He's awesome. But, all right, so back to the Super Bowl. The scene is set. Seahawks, Patriots. You and I are old AFC West guys, so we have a hard time cheering for the Seahawks, but yet everybody hates the Patriots. But here's the thing. It's not Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Has that made New England a little bit more likable?
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like the evil empire anymore.
Yeah.
But the brand is still there, so it's throwing me off.
I know, same.
Like the Patriots dynasty lasted forever, and now they're back. And it makes me a little nervous because forever we had the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Forever the Patriots are great. In fact, you look at history, the last time either the Patriots or the Chiefs weren't in a conference championship game in the AFC was 2010 when the Steelers were playing the Jets. So it's just always felt like it's Patriots it's Tom Brady, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's the Chiefs. And as a Broncos fan, it was a lot of fatigue. And obviously we got to enjoy Peyton Manning in there for a little bit, for a small window, but it was a very short period of time. In between then, it was just the Patriots and it was the Chiefs. So to see the Patriots back again, yeah, it's not the same old guys, and this is a fun bunch. It's a team that wasn't supposed to be there. I do like their coach. I think he's a really great dude. He's got some great culture going there. He's really found something with them. And Drake May, how do you hate Drake May right now? I mean, he's a great story. So it's hard to hate the Patriots, but I imagine if they win on Sunday, a lot of those feelings will come back because what's stopping this Patriots group from doing what the previous did?
So is there any part of you that just wants the Patriots to win so Alex suffers?
I'm not that evil.
Okay, I'm just checking. I know you, but I don't know you to that level, so I had to ask the question.
I don't need to torture him. I don't need to be tortured that much. He's already he's a Mariners fan too, so he's already very tortured. So I kind of feel bad for him, especially after the World Series. So I think he can have this one.
We had John Breach on yesterday and talked about the Super Bowl, but one of the things that fascinates me is, and you brought up Drake May, but just the different, I guess, experience has been for both of these quarterbacks. You know, one in Sam Darnold obviously came out as, you know, a guy that was going to be everything, and 11 years later he's been through just a little bit of everything, and now he's got as a journeyman, he's got a team in the Super Bowl. And then you mentioned the greatness of year two Drake May. Talk a little about those two things.
Yeah, I already talked about Drake and what a great story that is, and you can tell where this is going with him. He's just built for the success that he's enjoyed this year, and he's only going to get better. You look on the other sideline, though, Tim, and it's just we love watching sports because we love people when we watch storylines, and we love to see when somebody comes from nowhere, or we love to see somebody who overcomes adversity, who is down and out and then figures out a way to come back and become great. And you look at Sam Darnold's career arc, you know, getting drafted by the Jets, we know how that goes. Everybody knows how that goes. And it's basically a curse, and it's a curse on everybody that goes there. And it took a while for Sam Darnold to get that stink off, to be quite honest. And once you struggle in league, it's tough to get that next opportunity. And especially if you're drafted that high. And sometimes, guys, you'll see guys that are drafted that high won't not only get that other opportunity, but because they're looked at as a first round pick or whatever, they don't even get those backup opportunities sometimes. And Sam Darnold bounced around, went to Carolina, went to San Francisco. But this is a guy that's won a lot of games the last 2 years, 14-3 in back-to-back seasons. That's insane. I don't have it in front of me, but I think he's one of the first, or he tied another quarterback. Maybe it was, I can't remember who it was. It's the first quarterback to have back-to-back 14-win seasons. This is historic, the kind of success he's having over the last 2 years. And you're wondering, what were the Vikings thinking when they let him go? I know that playoff game didn't go well last year, but look what's happened to them this year, the drop-off that they had. So you now look at what Sam Darnold has done, especially when he's in a good organization, surrounded by great talent. And trust, he's got great talent. He's got a great running back. Well, he had running backs, plural. One of them's out for the Super Bowl, but he's got a great backfield, and he's got Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's one of the best receivers. His tight ends are solid. The offensive line is great, and you got a great coaching staff. And what happens when you put a talented guy like Sam Darnold in that position? He's going to succeed, and that's what's happened here. And it's a great story. If Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, it kind of reminds me of the Alex Smith's career arc. Remember how Alex Smith was considered a bust? San Francisco wasn't very good at the time, and he finally got a chance to prove himself with the Chiefs. It kind of has that similar effect, but this would be going all the way from that and winning a Super Bowl. It would be a heck of a story.
So we all know New England shouldn't be there because the better team did not win the AFC Championship.
Right.
So that being said,
it was the snow's fault.
Well, and Bo Nix's ankle.
It absolutely was.
Yeah,
that too.
Well, I mean, that had definitely had a part in it.
But I just have a hard time thinking that this is going to be a game. I would love for you to see some drama. I'd love to be knocking back my Bar W steaks coming up on Sunday and enjoying a really, really close game. I just don't see it happening. I just think Seattle wins and wins big in this thing.
So there's an interesting stat, and this is a little nerdy, so I'll get through it quick. But, you know, a lot of the NFL analytics guys love this stat, and it's explosive play margin.
And what that measures is a team that has the most explosive plays on offense without giving up as many on defense. An explosive play is 20 or more yards. And the teams that made it to the conference championship game this year were top 4 in that stat. It's a very telling stat, especially in today's NFL with the new kickoff and everything. The explosive plays are so hard to come by in the league that when you get them, it has a huge impact on games. And if you're watching games, you're like, why don't they take more deep shots? Why are they throwing all these short routes? And why do they play the way they do? It's because they're too safety high, and they're not there. So those plays are rare, and they don't happen very often. But when you get them, they're very impactful. So the Patriots have the best explosive play margin on offense. The Seahawks have the best explosive play margin on defense in the league. So you're getting those two teams with the most contrast going head-to-head. Now, which one is going to win out? I don't know. But the thing that concerns me about the Patriots, guys, and to your point, Scotty, is Drake May has been turning the ball over in the postseason.
Yep.
And if he turns the ball over against the Seahawks, they will punish him. And guess who's not turning the ball over in the playoffs? Sam Darnold, which used to be one of his issues. So the way the Seahawks are playing right now, with that defense being so tough, if Sam Darnold takes care of the football like you, Scotty, I cannot see the Seahawks losing this game. But if the Patriots offense can get some of those explosive plays against that defense in a game that could be really low scoring, that could be the difference in the game. So when you're watching on Sunday, watch for those explosive plays. Those will be the difference. And on offense, can the Seahawks get a special teams explosive play from Rashid Shaheed? He's been a huge player in this postseason. So there's a lot of those things to look for. I think the Seahawks can control those things, and that's why I think they'll win. But it's an interesting contrast going head-to-head in this game. Which one will win out will determine the winner.
And to me, because I looked at that too, and I've always felt like Super Bowls, games that those chunk plays, if you think about it, those chunk plays are everything in a Super Bowl. And I do believe with Smith and Jigba and with Rashid Shaheed and in Kenneth Walker, like that guy can break one at any point, and he actually may run someone over first, like the power he runs with. But I do think that the Patriots numbers are a little bit inflated because of their strength of schedule. You know what I mean? They played.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, second. So numbers are always interesting, and it's honestly the stuff that, as a coach, that makes you stay up at night before a game and wondering if you've covered everything, because the numbers can be, depending on that team's experience, their schedule. You got to take all that into account. But I'm with you. I think chunk plays will be the thing.
And I'm glad you brought up that personnel, because when I'm looking at it, I kind of feel like the trenches are pretty even with these teams. The Patriots defense is pretty good too. But which team has the better skill position players? I would give that edge to the Seahawks. I think they have better receivers slightly. Obviously, Jackson Smith and Jigba has an argument to be the best. Stephon Diggs and Keyshawn Boutte are pretty good. But Jackson Smith and Jigba is the best receiver in the league right now. So I'm going to give them the nod, and I think they're just slightly better in the backfield as well, although they got a nice young running back in Travion Henderson for the Patriots, who could break out in the Super Bowl. I don't know. But I trust the skill position guys of the Seahawks more than the Patriots.
JJ, we can't thank you enough. You have been far and away the best guest we've had today. You've had the best you're the best guest we've had this week. We can't thank you for your kindness and your willingness to work with us. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't have to be the friend. I'm just happy that I'm a friend, guys. I love you both.
Hey, we got to go. We got another guest. Hey, have fun out there, man.
What big name's on the phone now? Who's ringing in right now?
It's crazy. You won't believe it. But, Bear Tierney. No, I'm just joking. No, we're good.
Hey, you're supposed to save him for our show.
I know, right? Hey, thanks so much. We'll see you. There he is, Jeremiah Jensen, right here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. We'll wrap things up and get you ready for, well, not JJ and Alex. It'll be Alex. JJ is in San Francisco, getting you ready for the Super Bowl. So we'll get ready. We'll set the scene for them coming up next, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.